Yeah, okay. So anyway, this guy's a really cool guy. I've known him for a long time. He's my favorite peer now. We study at the same university, spend a lot of time together. Sometimes my favorite homeless man. But yeah, no, he's a really cool older brother, really inspirational. I've definitely learned a lot from him over the years, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to talk about today. But most importantly, he's my fellow barbarian, so please welcome up Mr. Aryan Rai.
All right, good morning, everyone. How are we feeling today? Good. It's great to see you all. Thank you very much for coming today, whether you're here in person or joining us online. I feel really excited about this talk. To be honest with you, I've wanted to give this talk for about a month now, and it's been on my mind. I've been developing my thoughts, speaking to people, having new ideas, and today is finally my opportunity to share all of this with you. So I hope that today you can find it interesting, meaningful, and you can take something away and apply it to your own lives. But yeah, so actually we have some nice new technology. I have a little pointer and clicker today. I'm quite excited about using this as well. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so first of all, you might be wondering about the title. What does it mean to become a super barbarian? I know some people in the room know what that means. Some people in the room have become barbarians, and they surprised me today. I didn't know they were coming, so thank you very much for being in attendance. So I became a super barbarian about a month ago, and it's often described as a rite of passage. And the tagline is, the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. So this is something that Liver King says when he describes the Barbarian Challenge. And he is someone that's affected the brothers, I'd say, recently. He's influenced our culture, and we've been looking to him for some inspiration. I don't think it is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it's definitely up there. And I learned a lot of lessons by doing this challenge, and I was reminded of a lot of lessons as well. So that's what I'm planning to share with you all today. And you can see there's a picture of me just after I became a super barbarian. It was a big moment for me. So yeah, here's the overview. So that's Liver King up there. If you want to talk to me about him later, we can, but I don't want to dwell on him too much for now. But first of all, there's the challenge itself, right? The Barbarian Challenge, the Barbarian Workout. So I'll explain that to you soon. And then the other topics I want to cover today are how my journey became God's victory, what it means to carry one's own cross, the importance of giving offerings and restoring mistakes, a new approach to witnessing that I learned by doing this challenge, and also rebirth and what it means to assume a new identity. So I hope to explain that all well for you today. All right, so this is the workout itself, and it might be really hard to understand or picture what this actually looks like. So I wanted to describe it, and then we'll show some clips later of one of my friends doing the Barbarian Workout. So it's 1 mile, but it's not just walking 1 mile or running 1 mile. You move a mile carrying one 32-kilo kettlebell in each hand, or if you're doing the super version, which I did, you do half your body weight in each hand. And then on the sled, you'll see what this looks like in the video. You've either got 55 kilos or your body weight. And in the backpack, again, half your body weight or 32 kilos. And last, and definitely not least, you've got 5 kilos on each ankle. And so in total, it's a roughly 175 kilos if you include the weight of the sled as well. So it's definitely no joke. There's a reason why they say this is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. But yeah, I'll tell you about why I decided to do it and my thoughts going into it and my thoughts during it as well, because that's where the real meaning is. Doing the physical workout is just one side of it, but there's a lot more to this workout. So, first of all, I wanted to speak to you about the cave of my mind. So going into this challenge, I'd seen a few of my friends do it already, and I could see just how difficult it was. And actually, the first time I picked up the 32-kilo kettlebell, I thought, this is impossible. And at that point, I got really, really scared. I thought, how on earth am I going to do this challenge when it's difficult for me just to lift this off the ground in the first place? How am I supposed to move this, one in each hand, with all this other weight on me as well, and travel a mile? And, I started to have these doubts in my mind. Oh, it's not really possible. Oh, my friends were able to do it because they've been training regularly for years. They're much stronger than I am. They're much heavier than I am, like relative to my weight. This is unfair. And they expect me to do it as well. And, I started having all these thoughts about why I couldn't do it. And I thought that wasn't useful. So I was going into this cave in my mind. And I think we go to these caves in our minds when we have this fear of the unknown. And often this can be a huge obstacle in whatever we're trying to do. So last week, actually, I was listening to one of my lectures at King's, where I go with Ali. And this person, Hilary Davies, she was talking about artwork that's done in caves. So, in the past, many people went in caves, and that's where they decided to draw or to paint. And it's quite an interesting idea that you go to a place where you can't see very well. It's very dark, but that's a place you want to do your art. There's some reasoning behind that, and I thought that was really interesting. So she says, they are places of both sensory deprivation and of heightened sensory awareness. So the idea is that by going to the cave in your own mind, you can learn more about your mind. Even though it's dark, you shouldn't be afraid to go to those dark places in your mind. You have to spend time there, and after you've spent time there, you can adjust and start to see really what's going on in your mind. Instead of just being afraid of the dark, take the time to see the light there and see what's really going on, and understand what's going on mentally in your own head. And I spent some time in the cave of my mind before I even did the challenge, and I spent a lot more time here while I was doing the challenge. But before I started, my main concern was to not let myself be defeated before I even began. And I feel like this applies to every single challenge that we face in our lives. If we get too afraid of the challenge, sometimes we don't even start. And if you don't start, you're definitely not going to accomplish whatever it is that you would like to accomplish. You can't be defeated by these initial fears. You have to just take that first step, take the plunge. So I really enjoyed, well, I don't know if I can say I enjoyed, that's not the right word, but I thought it was a very worthwhile experience to go to this cave in my mind. And I think you have to go out of your comfort zone. You don't enter the cave in the real world and stay in your comfort zone. You have to get out of the light where you know what's going on, you can see the dangers, and you go into some dark place, you don't know what's in there. But you just have to go there anyway. So I was really grateful for this opportunity to enter the cave of my own mind. And I think that's why we need these extreme workouts or these extreme conditions to force us to enter these caves in the first place. So this is how my journey became God's victory. And now I get to use a laser. So, as you can see here, actually, I don't know well, you don't know. Here at the bottom, this is the Cooper's house. And you go up from the Cooper's house. Each section is about 200 to 300 meters. You get to the park, and you go across the park to the church here. And then when you get to the church, you come back down, and this is the halfway point. And then from here on in, you're just getting back to the Cooper's house, retracing your steps. And so before I started the challenge, I thought it would make a lot of sense to give this more meaning. Why am I doing this challenge? Is it just to do a physical workout and to prove myself to my friends? Sure, that was part of it, but I thought I can make this a lot more meaningful. I can give this the meaning that I want to give it. So I decided to break down the sections into 6. That you can see they're very natural sections here, right? We've got going up, across, down, and repeat. So I decided that each section is going to be for a different person, different thing, and this way I can get more encouragement and more strength to do this challenge. So to begin with, on this first section here, I did it for myself. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier in terms of entering the cave of your mind. I had these insecurities in my mind thinking, I can't do this, I'm not strong enough to do this. I'm not whatever. And that was already a stumbling block for me before I'd started. And it didn't really go away when I started. You put that weight on and you think, my gosh, this really is heavy, it's no joke. I wasn't deluded. When I picked up that 32 kilo kettlebell, it wasn't a joke. Now I've got 2 of them and all this other weight as well. This is really difficult. Right when you start, you can go quickly at the start. You've got all that energy. You're like, all right, let's go. You feel really motivated. But after about 5 minutes, you lose that motivation. And you think, okay, I'm stuck here. And God knows how long I'm going to be stuck here for. But I just have to keep going. So I thought, okay, at least in this first section, prove to yourself that you can do what you've set out to do. Do it for yourself. Overcome your own insecurities. And then I managed to get to the park, thank God. And I was really, really tired. After 1/6, maybe it'd been about half an hour, somewhere in that region, I was already exhausted. I was really tired. I thought, I have to say, there's not much in life that's been more difficult than standing here and looking at the end of the park and thinking, gosh, I have to go there, and there's a lot more after this. It seems so far away. You think, how can I even get there? But the important thing is to just carry on moving, right? You can't be limited by the thought of it's so far away. With each step you take, you get closer to your goal. And so in my mind, I had David Goggins. I don't know if you know him, but he says, I know you can always take one more step. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. In my mind, I thought, all right, even if I'm here for the next 12 hours, I will complete this challenge because I can take another step. I can always get up, take at least one step. If I have to rest afterwards, sure, I'll rest. But eventually, I'm going to get back up and take the next step. So at this point, I started doing this challenge for other people as well. This section was for my family. So I started with myself, and then I went to the next level, and you might see where this is going. But I thought, okay, I want to be a strong older brother for my siblings and my family. I want to be a good son to my parents. I want to be a reliable cousin and like a good nephew. So as I was going through, each time I picked up the weights and moved, I did it for a different person. So I started with my dad, and then I thought, this next one's for my mom, this one's for Simi, and so on. I've got too many siblings to name them all. We'll be here forever. But anyway, that's how it worked. I went through my whole family, and by the time I got through my family, including all my cousins, I managed to get to the end. And I thought, okay, this is good, I'm one third of the way through. It's not too bad. Like, I think I'm going to finish this, and I'm doing this for other people. I started to feel motivated. I thought, this is possible, right? I've made it one third of the way through. I know it's going to get more difficult, but I'm starting to think this is actually possible. So then the next section, quite naturally, was for my friends. So a few of them are here in the crowd. So my friends from church, my brothers, my sisters, my friends from university as well. I thought, wow, I'm really, really lucky to have all these people in my life, and I want to be a strong and dependable friend for these people. And the way I can prove that to myself and to them is by doing this challenge, thinking of them. And there was one point around about here in the middle where I was lying down, the sun was shining, the weather was quite good, thank God, and the birds were singing, and I just felt really emotional. I felt really moved and extremely grateful for all of my friends in my life. And what was really, really interesting to hear afterwards is I spoke to two of my friends, and they had the exact same experience in the exact same spot. So I don't know what's going on in the park. I don't know why that is, but I tried to start thinking about it. I thought maybe, people see the halfway point just in front of them, and they think, oh, this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for my friends. I love my friends so much. And, even one of my friends, I think he was so happy he was crying out of joy at this point, doing the challenge, just extremely grateful to be there and to have the people he has in his life. And I didn't cry, but I was almost there. And it's definitely a moment that I'm going to treasure, just feeling embraced by the ground that I was lying on, the sun shining on me, the birds singing, thinking about my friends. It was an amazing experience. And that really gave me the motivation I needed to get here to the halfway point. And I'm not going to spoil the next section yet because there's something I have to admit. So as I was going through the next section, I started to think, this is it. I've already gone halfway through, and every step now brings me closer to my final goal. Up until this point, I'm just getting further and further away from the house, right? But from here on in, I'm getting closer to the house. I was feeling confident. I was feeling strong. And then I saw Len running across the field towards me. And I thought, oh, that's nice. I just did this section thinking of my friends, and my friends coming to check on me. Some people did vomit during this challenge. Some people were collapsed, like shivering on the ground. And I thought, okay, my friend, he's come to check on me. That's good. And I was really happy to see him. And then that was when my world came crashing down. Because at the start of the day, we were all a bit tired. I wasn't thinking straight. And I'm not sure if you remember the 5-kilo ankle weights that I mentioned. I'd forgotten to put these 5-kilo ankle weights on. So I'd been going already for 2 hours, lugging all this weight, thinking this is difficult, but I'm getting closer. And then Len came across the field saying, Aryan, we forgot to put the ankle weights on. And I thought, goodness gracious, this is not how it was meant to be. But then straight away, a story entered my mind, and it was the story of Abraham and his failed sacrifice with the animals. And I thought, this is just like that. This is an example of doing all the hard work, right? You've got your body weight on the sled. You've got half your body weight in each hand. You've got half your body weight in your backpack. And what I've forgotten are the small little 5 kilo ankle weights. And I thought, oh man, this is just like forgetting, one for the dove, one for the pigeon. And it was like, yeah, I thought, well, at least there's a lesson to be learned here. And I thought, yeah, this is an offering. And I was offering this journey up to God, right? I described this as my journey and how that became God's victory. And God was in my mind the whole time. And I thought, I can't, I was tempted for a second to just do the challenge and think, you know what, it's just, it's the 5 kilo ankle weights. It's not a big deal. I basically did the challenge, right? But then I thought, no, you can't offer offerings like that. They can't be accepted by God. God needs to see that you've fully invested and that if you make a mistake, you're willing to make it up to him. So then, I had to shrug off the weights and just realize, okay, I'm going to have to go again. I'm going to have to come back again next week and start again. And this time, I'm not going to forget the ankle weights. Because failing to plan is planning to fail. And I think sometimes when we have these really large goals, ambitious projects that we're working on, we get lost thinking about the big picture. But if we forget the smaller details, everything else comes crashing down. And I thought this is a very good reminder for me in different parts of my life. I can think about the end goal, but if I'm not thinking about what I'm doing now and I'm not paying attention right at the start, I could lose everything later on and have to restart. So it wasn't the nicest lesson to learn, but it was a very valuable lesson to learn, and I'm hopefully not going to make the same mistake again. But yeah, going back to the journey, this fourth section is actually a section I'm really happy to share with you, because this section was for my church community. So that's all of you. And yeah, this was also very, very nice. As I was making my way back up, this is the second time round, let's say. I came back the next week, hyped myself up again. And anyway, I'll just carry on from this point. And I was thinking about my community. I was going through pretty much everyone in this room, thinking about how I'm very grateful to have all of these people in my community, about all the things that I've been able to inherit from everyone here, all the wisdom I've been able to acquire, and all the love that I've received from this community. And I thought, wow, I'm really lucky to have, not just this community, but the wider global community. But my mind was mainly focused on this community for now. And then I was also feeling grateful that now I'm in a position where I can have a bit of an impact on this community. And I thought, I want to do my best for this community. If I'm here, I need to do a good job, right? And it was really, really good. And then at one point, I realized I was there having all of these thoughts, and I was directing them at God. And I thought, I'm actually praying. This is really interesting. It was the most spontaneous prayer of my whole life, the most natural, authentic prayer I've ever said. Here, just genuinely giving thanks to God without making it formal, without starting by saying, "Dear Heavenly Parent and true parents." And I thought, wow, this is what prayer really should be like, right? If we're talking to God, I don't walk up to my dad and say, "Dear Heavenly Papa, can I speak to you today?" No, just naturally I'll say, anyway, good morning, and then maybe we'll talk about the football or something. But the conversation is very, very natural. It's not like I have to structure it in a certain way, I have to finish a certain way, I have to start a certain way. I'm just having a conversation with God and giving thanks to him, being grateful, in this case, for my community. But then after this point, I realized and probably before, I had been praying this whole time, but I just didn't realize it up until this point. But when I had that revelation, I thought, this is amazing. This is what prayer should really be like. And it's by going to these extremes and pushing yourself that maybe you can experience this more spiritual side of yourselves, where it's like you're getting out of your comfort zone, right? You're going to new places. If you just stay where you are, you continue doing what you do every day, you stay in your ordinary life, you're not going to experience anything extraordinary. You have to get out of that ordinary cycle to experience something beyond. And I thought, by doing this challenge, I've been able to get out of my ordinary, I've been able to push myself, and now I'm able to experience something beyond. So, at this point, again, I was feeling really grateful for the challenge. I was on my way back, and this time with ankle weights. And so I thought, okay, we're getting there now, we're getting there. And yeah, so then this fifth section over here was for the world. So what was really interesting, yes, sure. So here, coming back from the church to the entrance to the park, that section was, one more time. Over here, this is the church, and then you make your way across the park and get to the entrance of the park here. So it's the fifth section. This section, anyway, was for the world. And the reason I decided that this section would be for the world is because going along here, I got the opportunity to speak to lots and lots of members of the public. Now, if you can imagine, there's a half-naked, very hairy man making his way across the park carrying 175 kilos. If you saw him collapse on the floor, you'd also probably go up to him and say, "Hi, are you all right? Do you need some help? Can I get you some water?" You know, this was the most sociable activity I've ever done aside from fundraising. And with fundraising, you're always the person initiating, right? You're knocking on people's doors, you're saying good morning, you start those conversations. But I've never had as many strangers approach me as when I was doing the Barbarian. I thought, this is amazing. This is my opportunity to connect to the world. I'm seeing primary and nursery-aged kids walking past, staring at me, like, whoa, who is this guy? And then their teachers are asking me, "Oh, hi, I've seen your friends here." "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And then that's my opportunity to explain to them, "Oh yeah, this is who I am, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing." And I'll develop that point a bit more later. But I thought I'm getting to speak to really old people, really young people, men and women, and like people from all backgrounds. This is a great representation of the world. And by speaking to all of these people, I'm able to connect to the world. And I think as I'm going past these people, I can think, I'm doing it for you. You might not know who I am, but I'm doing this for you because I'm doing this for the world at large, and you're in the world. And, you know, in the future, I hope to have a big impact on the world. And so I thought, okay, I'm doing this for you. You might not realize it now, but hopefully this could have an impact on you, and in the future, I can have an impact on the wider world. So that was my thought process here. And then I got to about this point, like nearly to the top of the road. And then at that point, my left quad started to seize up, and then my calves started to give way as well. And I could hardly stand or move. So I took a long break there, and I thought, wow, if this happened earlier, I don't know if I could finish, but I've come way too far now to turn around. And then actually I turned around and I saw my friends. They were trying to hide in the park and keep an eye on me. But I was collapsed, and I went like this. I looked over my shoulder, and I saw, Len and Tiger, and I think Mark standing there. And I called them over, and I explained to them, this is the situation. The reason I'm lying down here is because this is what's going on with my body. I will finish, but just give me some time. I know that every step I take brings me closer to my end goal. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm going to get there, but I might have to start carrying the kettlebells, like one in each hand. And I had been doing this as well a bit before to recover. Take one kettlebell, move forward, go back, grab the other one, and go. And it's somewhat easier that way, but it's also more difficult because you're stop-starting. And also, you know, when you're picking up that weight, it's not like you're just picking up that 132-kilo kettlebell. You're also moving with your backpack and the sled on the whole time. So I wouldn't say it's easy. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, I managed, by the grace of God, to get to the top of the road. And I thought, this is it. This is the home stretch. And this final section is going to be for my future family and for God. And I thought, you know, in the future, I want to be a strong father, a strong husband, and I want to do a good job as the head of a family. And I want to be there for everyone in my family. And I want to do this for God. The whole time I've been doing it for God, but this time I wanted to make it specifically about God. I thought God is going to become, or God always will be a very central part of my family, right? We're blessed central families centered around God. God is part of this future family that I want to create. So in this way, I was able to connect my future, my present situation, and my past, like thinking about all the things I've been grateful for, what I'm doing right now, and all the things I'm looking forward to as well. So, you know, I had a lot of motivation, and I was able to finish. And I guess the overall message is just if you do things for yourself, you might have some motivation, but if you're doing things for others and you feel like this is going to benefit the people around me, you get a lot more strength from those people. I'm starting to realize I'm quite an extrovert. I get a lot of strength and energy from the people around me. I work better with other people, and I feel that this challenge showed me that. I had a lot more strength and encouragement when I was thinking about other people than when I was just doing it for myself. So that was my journey, and that's how I was able to make it God's victory. In the end, bringing it back to God and offering up the condition in the right way without anything missing, able to offer up this condition to God. So that's what it looked like. And also this experience, it might have been the most physically challenging experience of my life, but it was also the most spiritual experience of my life as well. And here I've got a quote. Love is an intermediary because it binds together the mortal and the immortal. And this is why love has the power to lead mortals to more enduring truths. And this is from Diotima, who was one of Socrates' teachers, and she taught him about love. And of course, I consider myself to be an immortal spiritual being, but as far as my physical condition goes, I am a mortal being. But the lesson for me here is that by doing anything with love, that activity, whether it's a physical workout or anything else, can become a spiritual activity as well. And as soon as you involve God, as soon as you involve love, you're also involving God. And any activity that you're doing, as long as God is there, it becomes a spiritual activity. And it's a way that you can start to approach God, make a connection to him. So I've got some photos of my friends here showing what it looks like and what it feels like to finish the Barbarian workout. So I've got 5 of my brothers here, and my biological brother right there, slap bang in the middle. And you can see, some of them, they might not be fully present. They might have lost their minds a bit. You can see that they've really had to push themselves to get to where they are. But you can also see the relief on their faces and how they were able to prove to themselves that they're stronger than they thought they were. And I think I'll get into that lesson a bit more later as well. But I think this is just a way of seeing what it takes and what it looks like to become a barbarian or a super-barbarian. So I've also got some clips here just to show you what it looks like, because so far I've been describing it, but I think just seeing some clips of how this works in real life would help to make it more understandable. It was actually kind of difficult to find some appropriate content for this section because most of us didn't wear a top as we were doing it. But fortunately, one of my friends did, and we've recorded him at the start of his challenge and at the end of the challenge as well. So you can see, what you look like at the start and really how it changes you as a man by the end. So this is my dear friend Eugene Park, and this is the start.
Eugene, go. Do this for you. Do this to introduce yourself. Do this for the tribe. Let's go. Let's go, bro.
Come on, Eugene, you got this, bro. Number 10.
Yeah.
Push yourself, bro.
So number 10 refers to him being the 10th person to try to complete the challenge, or hopefully complete the challenge.
Yeah, let's go.
And I'm not sure if you heard at the start, but Len was saying you do this for yourself, and you do this for the tribe, and for some other things. I can't remember exactly, but we have a little pep talk at the start to remind us of why we're doing what we're doing. And then this is him at the end.
Let's go, come on.
Go to the BIA Super-Barbarian YouTube channel if you want to see these videos.
Let's go, bro. Final push. Let's go.
And as you can see, it's very much a community-based challenge.
Just bring yourself.
We've got all of our brothers there to support him, to push him through over that line.
Let's go, finish. Let's go, finish. Finish. Let's go, come on. Let's go, finish. Let's go. More. Let's go. One more. Wait. One more, bro. One more. Just get up. Let's go. Just go, bro. 2 seconds more. Let's go. Just get up, bro. Just 2 more steps. 4,
just
3,
go.
2,
I have to say,
1.
when you're there at the end and they're saying just go,
let's go. Up,
all right, just wait a bit.
Up.
So give me 5 seconds, please.
Let's go, bro. Up.
So close, come on.
Push yourself, bro.
Up. Let's go. Up. Bring him up. Let's go. Come on. Push it. Let's go.
2 steps.
Come on.
Go on, let's go.
Let's go, Eugene. Let's go. Just to him, though.
You can drop the kettlebells here. Let's go.
Let's go. Final push. Let's go. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Eugene. Get more, bro. Help him. Take him on. Let's take the ankles off him. Take her.
There we go. So I hope that helps. Now you can get an idea of what it looks like. But yeah, to get back to my slideshow, sorry. Thank you very much. One lesson that I learned here was what it means to carry one's own cross. I don't know how much Jesus' cross weighed, but I know that he had to carry it himself, and for a while he got some help. But for the majority of the time, or at least for some of the time, he had to carry his own cross, right? Nobody could take that responsibility away from him. He had to take charge of it. And I thought, this is true as well for this challenge, right? Nobody else could carry these weights to make me a super-barbarian. This is something I have to do myself. I have to take self-responsibility in order to achieve what I want to achieve. And I'm sure that applies to everyone's situation here. No matter which goals you have, what goals you have, you need to take responsibility for them. Sometimes other people just can't do them for you. You can't become the person you want to be if you're relying on other people to do things for you. You have to take ownership. And so the quote here from Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 to 25 is, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it.'" And I thought, in some ways, this feels like dying. When you're going through this challenge, it is very, very exhausting, and you're pushed to the edge, and sometimes you think, oh, is this really possible? Can I actually finish? And in some ways, you do die, and you're reborn. I'll touch on that more later. So, I'm getting to the end now. I'm very sorry, this is taking a while, but I have a lot I want to share. So, over here, we've got Spider-Man, and you can see it says, "Carefully, he's a hero." So this goes back to the point that I was making. When I was on that stretch, coming back from the church to the top of the road, and I was doing it for the world, all these people were coming up to me to speak. They wanted to know what I was doing and why I was doing it. And I thought, this is what the future of witnessing is. As long as we're out there in the public, unashamed, doing what we know we need to do to become the people we want to be, people are going to be naturally attracted to us, and they're going to want to find out why we're doing what we're doing. And if we're really confident about what we're doing, we're out there in the public, we're not hiding from anybody, that's how we can witness in a very natural, organic way, where people are approaching us. We're not just shouting at them, "Oh, please listen to me, I have something to say." No, they're approaching us. They want to know what we have to say because of the work that they can see us doing. And I thought, this is how I can see us being successful with witnessing in the future, creating a culture that other people want to be a part of, right? Anyway, I thought that's something that we can reflect on. And getting back to dying, I think when you die and you experience this rebirth or this resurrection, going back to the song, "When I Behold the Lord," my old self dies away and soon a new self emerges. Your weak self dies away and you come back a stronger person, a more capable person. And this is obviously not just about this workout. This is about any challenge that we go through. Once you're able to reach your destination, once you're able to break through, your old, weaker self dies away, and you can be the person you really want to be. So for me, after my rebirth, I was able to experience this new identity of becoming a super-barbarian. And that's something that nobody can ever take away from me. That's something I've accomplished. Nothing will ever change that. And that's part of my identity now. That gives me strength in other areas of my life to think, yes, if I can succeed in this, why can't I succeed in other areas of my life as well? I think this has been really helpful, not just for me, but for my brothers, right? For the culture that my brotherhood is trying to create. And you can see here, this is a picture of 6 of our barbarians. Some of them are in the crowd today. And they've got the kettlebell in the middle because this is something that unites them. They have this shared common experience that they can talk about with each other and think about, wow, we really did that, right? And so it's not just about being able to accomplish things as individuals anymore. We start to think about what can we achieve together, because we've all gone through this challenge. We all know what we're capable of. And can you imagine how much we could achieve if we work together? And I think that's beautiful. I really treasure the brotherhood that I have with my friends. And I have really high hopes for the future. I think we could achieve great things. And I think it's by going through challenges like this and by growing and developing ourselves that we get ever more confident and closer to reaching our goals and creating the culture we want to create. So, to finish off, I'm very sorry, I know it's been a while, I don't know how long, but a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So I was on my way home the other day, and at my station, they have these inspirational quotes. So I was coming home, passing through Ealing Broadway, and I saw this there, and I thought, God has placed this here for me to use in my sermon. I stop there every day, I have a look, I think, oh, that's good, and I walk on. But on that day, I thought, wow, this is perfect. This is exactly what I needed to see today in the train station of all places. And this is going to be the final slide of my sermon. Because I think no matter what it is, every journey that we take that requires us to start. You're not going to get anywhere if you're not moving. And even if it's a single step at a time, like David Goggins would encourage you to take, just constantly move. Even if it's little steps at a time, you can get closer to your end goal, your destination that way. If you don't move at all, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to accomplish anything. So please, I'd encourage you, no matter what goal it is that you have in your mind, start moving towards it. Take the step that you can take. So just quickly to recap through everything. Well, actually, maybe I'll just do it on my laptop. Just finish here. So at the start, don't be afraid to go to the cave in your mind. You need to spend time there to find out who you really are and what you're really thinking. Do things that take you to this cave in your mind and discover more about yourself. Don't give up before you even begin. Make sure that anything you do, you involve God. Any activity that you do can become a spiritual activity as long as you allow God's love to be part of it. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Please take care of the minute details because those are the ones that might trip you up later down the line. And please take responsibility for yourself. Some people can't do other things for you. Sometimes you just have to take ownership of your own situation. And once people see that, you might be able to start witnessing. You'll become a natural witness. That's something that my dad said to me once. It's like, become a natural witness. And I really like that idea. It's nothing unnatural. It's nothing forced. Be a natural witness to what you represent and what you've heard and what you want to pass on, just by embodying those values that you hold dear. And yeah, don't be afraid to assume a new identity. If rebirth is what's required, you're going to have to struggle, but you'll be grateful for it once you're able to assume that new identity, once you become a super-barbarian, or once you become whoever it is that you want to be. So yeah, thank you very much.